everyone. I'm Devyn Gaydos, the marketing manager here at ClearEdge, and welcome back to Spark the Space, where the ClearEdge team shares all of our knowledge, expertise, and inspiration with you so that your marketing can be better than ever. Today, I'm joined by our wonderful senior content specialist, Stacy Greenberg, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about all things voice of the customer and how to use it for your brand messaging. So to kick us off, Stacy, can you give us a quick rundown of what voice of the customer actually is and why it's so important?
Good question, and thank you for having me. So, customer voice or voice of the customer, it really is just audience sentiment. It's what your current customers think about your company, your solutions, and how you meet their needs. It could also apply to prospects and what they're looking for, what they're thinking and feeling about similar companies or similar products to yours. So, why is this important to consider, you might ask? So, let's face it, I'm guilty, I'm sure a lot of us are, we have a tendency to get a case of what I'll call the we's. We offer, we do this, it kind of like we all the way home a little.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
that's good. That's
which
exactly what it is.
it is. And it's hard to avoid because we get really excited about our products and services. We know we have something great and we want to share that from our perspective, but we have to kind of take a step back, especially here in 2025. It's really important to flip that more outward and consider, instead of like with them, consider with T, what's in it for them, our customers, and how can we really ensure that we're taking that into consideration. So it's really voice of the customer is like putting a customer-centric lens that helps ensure that how you're communicating about your company, your offerings, that it resonates and connects with your audience. Because really, that's why we're here,
hmm
customers. That's why we're in business. So, it doesn't change the facts about who you are and what you do. It just really helps you prioritize which parts that you bring front and center in your brand messaging. Customers today are looking to be understood, have their pain points validated and solved for. Brand messaging that takes customer voice into account, it really is that promise.
I love that. And that trust is so important. I feel like I've seen like trust coming up so much more this year because I think we're all seeing it. We're seeing a change in the way that marketing is done. We're seeing AI shifting. We're seeing all of this new understanding of how people buy. And so trust is so important. And like I trust someone who speaks like I do and talks to my pain points and talks to my issues and tells me how they're going to solve it. So I love that. Now, when you're looking to use voice of the customer, bring it into your brand messaging, what are some ways that you can collect that?
So there are a number of ways you can go about it. The first one is you really can conduct those in-person or virtual one-on-one meetings with your customers to really get their perspective firsthand. You can opt to handle these meetings yourself, or, if you feel like your customers would be more comfortable speaking to someone who isn't you, you can actually have a third party conduct those meetings. But, those one-on-one meetings are really valuable in terms of unearthing those little nuggets that you might not find in other means because they can speak more freely.
hmm
Another way that you can go about it is you can run net promoter score surveys. So this really helps you understand how customers feel about their experience working with you and the value that you and your products or services provide. This feedback actually can also highlight opportunities for improvements or where like new offerings might align with customer needs. And I will give a shout out here to my teammate Nikki Leonardi. She recently did a really great Spark the Space on NPS scores. So I highly recommend that everyone take a listen to that one because you'll learn a lot more about that. But another way that you could also accomplish getting that customer voice, that sentiment, is with social listening. So here you're really just monitoring social media content and conversations for mentions about your company, your industry, and your competitors. And this really gives you a better idea of what matters to your current customers and what turns them off.
hmm
And also your target audience to get a sense of, for those who we haven't really connected with yet, what's really important to them? What are they talking about? What do they like? What do they not like? And,
hmm
if you're a newer company or you're looking to expand into new industries or markets, this one is particularly effective, I will say.
I
Um,
love social listening. If I could just scroll LinkedIn and look at people's like rants and raves of thing, that'd be my favorite job. That's the job I want.
Yes, I agree. I will say that that particular tactic, it's the one of the most honest I've seen.
Hmm.
You can, again, it's really great, especially if you're going to foray into, a new product that you've created in a new market that you're not quite sure what the temperature is out there for it.
Hmm.
It's a really good way to gauge that and kind of help inform how you want to go forth messaging and marketing that. And I will say too, there's always the tried and true, you can monitor your company through traditional Google reviews and other sites like that as well.
I really like all of those because they are, those feel like really big initiatives, but you can break them down into smaller pieces and they can work together. So now, when you've collected that feedback, you've done your NPS, you've done your surveys, you've done your interviews, how do you actually bring that to your messaging?
Voice of customer, it really can inform every part of your brand messaging. So whether you're just doing a refresh of existing messaging or if you're executing a full-blown messaging strategy for the first time, it really can apply across the board. The way I like to look at it is it can really lead to what I call the ahas or the breakthroughs that ultimately bring you closer to your customers. So let me explain what I mean by that. Um, we don't know what we don't know. We make guesses and assumptions a lot of times of what we think will connect with customers, but sometimes what we think are our strengths and our differentiators aren't really the real reasons our customers love us.
Hmm.
So you might think that you do X really well, and it's what draws customers in. And so you focus on that in your brand messaging. But then in talking to customers, you might discover that, yeah, sure, they think you do X pretty okay. But maybe it's not one of the reasons they chose you at all. Like it's
Hmm.
actually why. Why is what makes you stand out in their minds. And the funny thing is, you're not even talking about why in your messaging.
Hmm.
So those are the favorite things that happen when I'm working with clients and conducting voice of customer interviews or working on brand messaging. It's those little light bulb moments that really elevate the messaging and increase that connection, and you can see what happens as a result. So, I love that gold mine. It's really, uncovering what truly makes you stand out. The way I look at it, it's really a means of crafting brand messaging that turns into a conversation with your customers rather
Love
than
that.
a means of talking at them.
Yes, yeah, conversation instead of talking at. That's so huge. Holy cow, what a great conversation. I now want to sit here and I'm just, sorry to our clients if you start getting emails from me and I'm like, tell me everything. I want to use all of these tips because they're incredible. So Stacy, thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to connect with Stacy on LinkedIn, and as always, you all can learn more about all that we do here at ClearEdge, including our marketing, our recruiting, our leadership development services, our voice of the customer services over at meetclearedge.com, and we will see you next time.